Did you know that silence can speak volumes in a relationship? That's right. While we often lean on words to build and maintain our connections, it turns out that not all communication has to be verbal. Talking is key in relationships, sure. But guess what? It's not the only way to chat with your other half. Think about it. Sometimes planning your day feels like you're running a military operation with all the talking that's involved. And constantly trying to dissect every little comment, that's like asking for trouble. There's a lot to be said for those silent moments, too. Imagine dating someone who doesn't even speak your language. Sounds like a sitcom setup, right? But it could actually be pretty awesome. Relationships aren't just about swapping gossip or planning grocery lists. They're about those quiet moments that you just can't put into words. Sometimes, just being there is better than any heart to heart. Ever felt like your relationship is just going around in circles with the same old, let's talk about us routine? It's like being trapped in a bad soap opera. Too much of this, and you might just find yourself smothered by all the talking. Real connections? They happen when you're actually doing stuff together, not when you're analyzing every word. Going for a hike, watching a movie without dissecting it, or even tackling a jigsaw puzzle can bring you closer than a marathon chat session. So maybe, just maybe, the best way to show you care is to simply be there. No speech required. Let's face it, sometimes actions speak louder than words, and thankfully, they're quieter too. So, what's more exciting, actually doing something or just yapping about it? Whether it's getting cozy, jetting off on a trip, or just having an unforgettable time, getting stuck in is way more fun than just chatting about it. Let's be real. Talking is basically daydreaming out loud. It's like comparing a diet soda to a milkshake. One's clearly richer than the other. Plus, the more you talk, the less you're actually out there doing the cool stuff. And let's face it, the best stories come from doing, not discussing. Ever have someone come up to you with that ominous, we need to talk? It's almost never to tell you how awesome you are at listening. Usually, it's to unpack some kind of drama. Kind of funny, right? Because hashing things out often just stirs the pot rather than settles it. Even therapists will tell you you can't talk your way out of every pickle. Sometimes mulling over problems can become its own headache. So, next time you think about sitting down for a marathon chat, maybe hit pause. Is there a cooler, action packed way to sort things out? Maybe show how you feel instead of just spelling it out. After all, actions speak louder than words, and they're usually less repetitive too. Marsha Linehan, the brain behind dialectical behavior therapy, used chit chat as a form of timeout. If her clients were late or skipped sessions, they didn't just get on with therapy. Nope, they had to sit through a whole spiel about why they messed up. Turns out, people hated these talks so much, they'd do anything to skip the lecture. It wasn't deep insights changing behaviors, it was the sheer agony of the talk itself. So, that ominous, we need to talk might just be effective because it feels like a trip to the principal's office. Who knew talking could be a behavioral shock collar, zapping away unwanted habits with every painful convo? If you know a friend, family member, or even a bro who could benefit from this knowledge, please share it with them. Not only does it show you care, but it could also spark a great discussion between you and them at your next gathering. Thanks for spreading the word. Is turning chit chat into a punishment really cool for relationships? It's a bit like one person holding the remote in a TV binge. There's a power play at work. The one doing the scolding might feel all high and mighty, while the one getting lectured might as well be sitting in the naughty corner. Not exactly the recipe for love and laughter, right? Healthy relationships should be about mutual respect and actually enjoying hanging out, not training your partner like a puppy. Conversations should help you grow, not just groan. If talking feels more like a punishment than a heart to heart, it might be time to switch up your communication style. After all, the best connections are built on high fives, not finger wags. You know how it goes. Someone gets upset and suddenly it's time for a serious talk. It's like a relationships version of a pop quiz. Nobody really wants it. But here's a hot take. Just talking about someone being lazy or disrespectful isn't going to magically transform them into Mr. or Ms. Perfect overnight. Honestly, a lot of these let's talk moments come from not accepting people as they are. It's like trying to teach a cat to fetch. You can talk all you want, but that cat's just going to stare at you. The real magic happens when you just start being a better partner yourself, more responsible, kinder, all that good stuff. Suddenly, you'll find there's a lot less to correct because you're both too busy being awesome to each other. And get this, imagine having a great relationship with someone who doesn't even speak your language. Sounds like a sitcom plot, right? But it's actually possible. It shows that actions speak way louder than words. You don't need deep, meaningful discussions to connect. Sometimes just being sweet, loyal, and caring in the day to day is enough. Really, the best things in a relationship don't need to be spelled out. They're all about those little gestures and a positive attitude towards each other. It's like silent movie love. No dialogue needed, just the good stuff. So maybe the secret to a happy relationship isn't more talk, it's more action. Less blah blah, more aw, yeah. So, you think communication in relationships is all about talking your head off? Think again. Not every hiccup needs a deep dive discussion. Sometimes problems just need a little time to sort themselves out, like a self cleaning oven. You don't have to dissect every little mood swing or side eye. Life's like a river, after all. Stuff flows in and out all the time. And here's another kicker: constantly talking about a problem can make it stick around like that one guest who doesn't get the hint the party's over. Before you know it, what was just a tiny hiccup turns into this huge deal that nobody can forget. It's like accidentally supergluing a bad memory right into the middle of your relationship. Oops. Of course, there are those big deal breaker issues. These are the non negotiables. And when they pop up, it's not about chit chat. It's more like, okay, do we keep putting up with this, or is it time to call it quits? Those chats are quick and to the point, like ripping off a band aid. You figure out where everyone stands, make a decision, and then it's done. Really, you don't need nonstop talking to keep a relationship on track. Sometimes, the best thing to do is just let things play out. Speak up when it's something huge. But otherwise, let it be. Managing a relationship with a bit less talk could actually be a breath of fresh air, like enjoying the silence without someone asking, "What are you thinking?" every 5 minutes.